What's up? What's up, co-reporters? Welcome back to my channel. She did it. Kail decided to go ahead and throw the out to the curb and replace her immediately with Becky. Becky was a friend that she fell out with over several years who recently came back in her life in a very contrived fashion. They did this like, let's film the first time we see each other again, do an exclusive podcast, put you on the podcast stage. Like all of it was just so weird, icky, and transactional seeming. And half the time that Becky was talking with Kail during that podcast episode, she was talking about like the public eye and people using Kail and whatnot. And it kind of felt like the call was coming from inside of the house, the way she was so obsessed with the public eye and whatnot, right? And when Kail announced that she and V were no longer going to film their podcast together, what did we all say? That's because V was about to be replaced with Becky. Becky's papers went through. She is back on the friendship payroll, and she is ready to capitalize this time. In the past, she only appeared here and there on Teen Mom, but this time she is ready. Hang on. Let me make sure this mic is working properly. It's working. Sorry, because last time in the video I made, like for the first minute, it wasn't even on, so I had to make sure. Anyway, so Becky decided this time she is going to make sure that she makes some real money out of this friendship before it implodes the second time around. Let's take a listen to the trailer that the two of them dropped for their new podcast. It is called Karma and Chaos. Listen, I get the whole chaos thing because Kail has been trying to peddle some sort of Kail and the Chaos reality show for years now and no one's biting. But where does the karma come in? I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Anyway, let's take a listen to the trailer for it.
I'm Kail.
And I'm Becky.
And you're listening to Karma and Chaos. We'll share stories about rekindling friendships, losing loved ones, and life in our 30s, but truly nothing is off limits.
We're keeping it real, raw, and maybe a little bit too chaotic.
Maybe a lot of it chaotic. So sit back, get comfortable, or drive to work. It doesn't matter. You're going to laugh with us. You're going to cry with us. We're going to figure all this shit out together.
Welcome to Karma and Chaos.
I can't fucking wait.
So there you go. That was the trailer for Karma and Chaos. Nothing is off limits. All right, girl. Keep telling us that, I think the only thing that would be off limits is if she were to get knocked up again. Ooh. Because we all know how that went down the last time, right? Let's talk about the comments. Kail is getting dragged in the comment section of this podcast because people are not having it. They are not happy with the way that she dismissed V, said she never even really liked her as a friend or anything like that, and just completely disregarded her and all of the time that they spent together and everything like that. It was a very, very nasty goodbye message, especially when you contrast it to the way in which V signed off. V filmed her own version of a goodbye message, and in it, she was just crying, so thankful for the opportunity that she got to share her life with the audience and to connect with the audience. And she said that she felt like she built a tribe for the first time in her life. Okay, you guys. Now, let's go over these comments and let me pull them up here. I'm gonna post the screenshots. Actually, it's gonna be a lot easier because I don't get them on Spotify web. You have to be on your app if you want to read these comments. Okay. So someone said, "Oh, shaking my head, definitely not tuning into this foolishness." Someone else said, "Saw this coming," laughing emoji. Someone said, "I knew it," eye rolling emoji. Unfollowed, never cared for Becky. It's all fun until Kail falls out with her again too. Someone said lame. Someone said Becky sucks, zero interest in her, bad business move. Can't think that many people want to hear what Becky has to say. And I do have to let you guys know that it's not all bad. There are some people who left some positive comments who are looking forward to this as well. But yeah, it's definitely a mixture over there. Okay. Another person said, if Becky and Kail had a fallout, how she switched up with V, what makes you think it won't happen with Becky? Okay, you guys. And someone else said, I already miss Baby Mama's No Drama because I related so much. Wishing everybody the best. Someone, on a more positive note, just mentioned 14 minutes ago, gonna miss V. I really enjoyed the energy she brought. Crystal says, how exciting. I really thought this was going to be a book podcast, but I am down with this. So there's a lot of messages coming in. People generally, of course, there are some, people who are looking forward to this, but a lot of people are just, still upset because we literally just got the news that the podcast we were listening to for 4 years is no longer, right? And that the hosts are at odds and they're on such bad terms that they're not even going to, that they weren't even able to film a goodbye message. And one of them had to get in a dig at the other, right? And this comment I just saw for the first time and it made me laugh. It said, oh, that's not ... right? So yeah, there's a lot going on here, you guys, in the comment section of the video of the announcement. I didn't even know that you could leave comments on individual episodes. Like, I feel like such a boomer that's just like, discovering this for the first time. That's crazy. So I did want to tell you, some people are like, listen, I can't wait for the next chapter. Absolutely knew this was coming. Hopefully it's everything we want and more. So, there are the two sides, but a lot of people are unhappy about this. I do believe that some negative comments were deleted as well. I'll have to go back and look at the old screenshots that I grabbed, because I do feel like there were some messages that I saw earlier that I'm not seeing now when I'm like looking at it, a couple hours later. But anyway, very interesting stuff. I'm not really surprised that Kail is dropping a podcast with Becky. She and Becky are both very thirsty for controversy. And they both made it very clear by monetizing their first kind of like time seeing each other ever since their fallout, that this was something that they wanted to continue to do. And the last time that we heard from Becky, she was supposed to already be launching her own podcast on Kail's podcast network. And so it makes complete sense that this is something that is happening. But listen, what happened with V could very well happen with Becky. And I think that it is even more likely to happen with Becky, because there isn't this like kind of level of civility that she has to maintain with Becky the way that she has to with V, right? Because V is her family. V is her son's stepmother, who has been his stepmother practically his entire life. And Becky's just, just a friend, right? And, Kail already got a little bit messy in her reunion podcast episode that she shot with Becky. She was talking about, asking Becky back in the day why they never got together. And then she randomly like announced on the podcast that they had kissed in the past. And then she's like, oh, like, how does your wife feel about me? It feels like she wants to stir mess up in that relationship, if I'm being really honest with you. And it's only a matter of time before all that goes. I wonder if Becky's gonna like really like talk about like how thirsty Kail was for Chris. Kail has already been rather open, but I do think that she has kind of been holding back some tidbits of information. And I wonder if Becky is going to be the one to call her out on it and remind her of how, just how thirsty she was and, for that man. So that's going to be interesting. I hope that she's going to ask interesting questions about Elijah. I really want to let you guys know that, of course, I will be tuning in to recap the episodes. I do recap all of Kail's podcasts because they tend to be messy. She's a messy, messy girl. By the way, what you're seeing here, oh, I forgot about this one. What you're seeing here are some pieces of decor for my Halloween party. Okay, I'm having a Halloween party tomorrow here in France. The 1st of November c'est un jour férié, meaning it's a holiday. So we always celebrate Halloween on the 31st here, and being that my birthday falls just before Halloween on the 26th, I always just do a Halloween party because I get overwhelmed, with the idea of just celebrating my birthday itself. And so I like to hide it behind like a Halloween party so we can kind of do the two. So this is the Kiss. This is inspired by Kiss. And these are spiders. Let me pull this up and see if I can like pull it over for you guys. Like, this is the first time do you see it? Do you see it? Voila. Donc, yeah. Anyway, you guys. Sorry, I did my best. I'm like, I'm so like, I'm seriously lacking in hand-eye coordination. But yeah, that's some of the decor. It's like the spider web, and then you see like the little spiders in the middle of it. I've got it on my YouTube play button. And then in my bathroom mirror, it's got that too. So tomorrow, I've also got something here that I want to show you guys actually. Do you see this? Voila. This is like a hanging ghoul. I think this is the first time that you guys are really seeing a lot of my apartment, but voila. Except for my channel members, because I always do apartment tours whenever I move for my channel members. So I think they've already seen like the full apartment. Donc voila. So I will be recapping. Now I'm a little crooked. So I will be recapping this podcast, of course, because Kail is always really messy. She shares a lot of information on her podcast that you guys are really interested in. The full recaps are typically reserved for my channel members, so definitely make sure to hit that join button if you want to be privy to that, in addition to the memoirs that we're reading. So we're finishing up. We're over halfway through Amber Portwood's So You're Crazy 2 memoir, and then we're going to get into Kail's is it Pride Over Pity or Pity Over Pride? I can't remember, but that's the next memoir that we're going to be getting into. We read it, from cover to cover, share our opinions and everything like that over there. Okay, you guys. So stay tuned. Next Tuesday is when that drops, and I cannot wait to dish and gossip about it with all of you. Have a great day, you guys, and happy Halloween in advance. I don't think I'm going to be filming tomorrow. Tomorrow I gotta run and buy a bunch of food and drinks and finish up some final touches before the party. Okay, take care of yourselves. See you soon. Ciao, guys.